Welcome to this episode of Heal Your Past, Master Your Future. My name's Tracy Malone, and today we're going to talk about secure attachment. What is secure attachment really, and what does it actually look like in your everyday life? It's really important to understand that all of our attachment types, we were not born with them. They are something that is created by the way that we attach to our parents after birth, and the way that our parents are actually able to meet our needs. Which means it's not a personality trait. It's also not a moment of, I am unhealed and now I'm healed. There is no finish line where you get to secure attachment and you feel like you'll never be triggered again. It's not like that at all. So that's why I wanted to do a podcast episode so we could tidy up a few of these things and get some real clarity around what even is secure attachment anyway. As introverts and highly sensitive people, we often feel safe when we're by ourselves and when we're with our safe people. We feel safest when we're disconnected from others, disconnected from community, because in that space, there's no relationship other than the one with yourself. What secure attachment is, it's a felt sense of safety in connection. It's with yourself, so you feel a felt sense of safety in connection with yourself. You feel a felt sense of safety in connection with others. And you also feel a felt sense of connection with life. Secure attachment is when your body stops scanning every room for danger and starts allowing connection in. So if you're one of those people that walks into a room and is scanning the room to read the nervous systems, to feel what's going on in that room, to see whether it's safe or not, and what you have to do to adapt yourself to maintain safety, secure connection is the ability to walk into a room and not have to scan. Secure connection is also when you don't have to abandon yourself in order to belong. So if I'm going into a group of people and I wait and see what the room needs. So if it's a bit of a down room, does it need some joy? If it's a bit of an angry room, do I need to help release tension? What is it that I need to become in order to make this room safe? And when you can walk into a room and let it be exactly what it is and maintain connection to yourself, that is secure attachment. It doesn't mean you stay if you feel the environment is unsafe. Often it's the opposite. You have permission to leave. When we talk about what secure attachment is, it's important to also talk about what secure attachment is not. Secure attachment does not mean we're always happy, we're always calm, we're never triggered, we have perfect communication. It doesn't mean any of those things. And it's not I don't need anyone, independence either. And it's not constant closeness. Secure attachment isn't about never getting activated, never feeling a trigger and never having your body move into a stress response. It's about what you do when your body goes into a dysregulated state. In a moment, I'm going to talk about what secure attachment looks like in daily life. Right now, I'd love to tell you about the Secure Attachment Code Masterclass, where I teach the 4 pillars of secure attachment. We go deep into how you can heal with each pillar, and there's a special discount code that you have 24 hours to use once you have finished the masterclass. And that Secure Attachment Code Masterclass is the way for you to become all the things that we're going to talk about on this podcast episode. You can find that on my website, tracymalone.co. It's right there on the homepage. It's close to the top, so it's easy to find. You can watch it immediately. So what does secure attachment look like in daily life? Secure attachment in daily life means that you can feel something without it taking you over. I talk about this in the pillar of inner child and parts therapy, where who is driving the bus? I can notice if my inner child has a need who needs to be met, which is when my body starts to go offline, but I know how to talk my inner child and parent them through that situation so that they don't feel like they need to take over the bus, which is my body. And I am not a wounded 2-year-old having an argument in a situation in everyday life anymore. what happens is you get triggered, but you're not in that spiral for days when you're in secure attachment. You notice the reaction in your body and you don't immediately act from that space. You can tell the difference between your adult self and your wounded child activated self or your younger activated self. You can tell the difference and you maintain your adult self during those moments. People often talk about the pause and they say, before you react, if you pause, secure attachment is the pause. When you have secure attachment, then you're actually able to pause. You have the ability to pause and stop and wonder who it is that's going to give this answer. And if you're feeling something in your body a little bit activated, you're able to decipher between the two. Another big thing that you do when you have secure attachment is you don't abandon yourself to keep the peace. Think of all those times where you let people go on and on and on, and you actually really want to say something, but you don't want to rock the boat. You want to keep the peace. And when you have secure attachment, you can speak up, you can speak your mind and you can put your thoughts out there, not worrying that you're going to offend anyone, because when you have secure attachment, you learn to communicate in a way that's not offensive, that is just really being able to speak your views and allow other people to have their views as well and be completely okay that they're totally different. And it's where you come to that moment of let's agree to disagree. I don't think we're going to come to a common ground on this. And I have no need to change your opinion. And I'm really grateful that you spoke up and you move on to something else. That's secure attachment. Another way you can know if you are somebody who has secure attachment is you can say no without guilt. You say no and then you don't feel guilty afterwards. It's not like you say no and then ruminate about it for days afterwards. You simply say no because no is the answer and that's it. You can also say yes without resentment building later. So when you say yes, you're saying yes because it's something that you want to do, you can do, and it feels right for you to move towards that. You're not saying yes to please the other person. And you don't over-explain your boundaries. When you do say no to somebody, you don't have to go into the whole reason of why. It can just be, no, thank you. And then a full stop, and that's a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Whether or not you would like to give one is up to you. And when you have secure attachment, you can decipher between the two, but you won't go on and on and on trying to over-explain and appease that person when it's a no. So really what it is in that section is you don't trade truth for temporary harmony. You say yes to yourself. And if that sounds like no to other people, then that's what happens in secure attachment. Another thing that you can do is you can stay connected during discomfort. You don't actually shut down at the first sign of tension. And you don't need to win an argument. You don't need to withdraw because it's too big. And discomfort often comes from conflict. So disagreeing with other people or listening to people who you completely disagree with. Secure attachment means you don't shut down at that first sign of somebody speaking about something that you completely disagree with. And you don't need to win or withdraw. So like we were saying before, you can just allow them to have their opinion and sit and listen, and you can completely disagree and you're able to communicate that in a way that is self-responsible without projecting onto others. And you really trust that connection with others can stretch without breaking. I watched something about Greek culture the other day, and they were talking about how arguing means that you actually feel really safe with someone and that you trust someone and you become closer through conflict. And it's something that we have lost the art of because we go into a stress response and we fight or we flee. And if we fight in a stress response, then we don't come back together. But disagreeing with somebody and having conflict with somebody is actually a way to come together. Because if you can allow that person to have a different opinion and know that they belong and that you belong, and that the sense of connection between the two of you and the sense of belonging in your connection together is not dependent on whether or not you agree about everything, then you have a really strong connection and a really safe connection and a really secure connection with each other. Another way to look at secure attachment in everyday life is you don't chase and you don't run. Either or. So chasing is a fawn response that comes down in dorsal vagal fawn response when you are wanting to chase people. You anxious attachment and you need to be connected to them in order to feel okay. And then the flight response is the sympathetic system, the orange light of polyvagal theory, and that is where you hate conflict and must run away. So when things get tough, you disconnect, and that's your attachment style. And that would come under avoidant. So you're not someone who kind of obsesses over replies in that anxious attachment. You're waiting for somebody to answer you right now. You put up a social media post and you're desperate to see what people say in the comments. But you're also not disappearing when things get real. So if somebody disagrees with you in a comment or in real life, you're not just going to ghost them and take off. You're there for those difficult conversations when you disagree with someone. And you can really let things unfold. You allow it to unfold because most of the time when two people can actually communicate openly and safely with each other, things get resolved. It's when we cut it off in the middle that things don't get resolved. And the crux of that one is that you're really not trying to control connection in order to feel safe. Another way that secure attachment works in every day is you trust your body more than your fear. So your body really does become a reference point for you. You notice tightness and contraction and expansion. You notice how you feel in your body when you're around someone in certain situations, and you allow that to guide you. And that means you're able to respond instead of react. A response is, oh, this is really interesting. I'm on the opposite side of the fence to you. I wonder how that works. Tell me more about that. And a reaction is, oh, look, I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm running late. I need to get out of here. Or, no, that's completely wrong. I can't believe you would think that. And then you're starting an argument with someone straight away instead of allowing them to speak what their thoughts are. And so to wrap this one up, it really is that your body becomes a home, a safe home, and not a battlefield. So we rewrite the story. If you grew up in an unsafe home, you can make your body and create your body into a place of home and safety for yourself. Another way that you use secure attachment in daily life is that you can receive love without questioning it. Love is just there and help is just there. And you don't have to look for what's wrong. You don't have to wait for it to be taken away, and you don't feel suspicious of somebody being kind to you. You can just allow people to actually help and support you with no strings attached. And that means that you can let good things actually land in your body in that home of safety, which is a really cool thing to be able to do. Another way that secure attachment shows up in everyday life is you can be alone without feeling abandoned. So solitude doesn't actually equal rejection. You don't panic in space and look to fill the space, like having something on in the background all the time, needing the TV on, needing the radio on, needing to talk to someone, having group chats, scrolling on social media, desperately looking for that connection at all times. You can just be in the moment. I always say one of the greatest gifts secure attachment gave me was the present moment, and to be able to rest in the present moment. Because for me, sitting down before and actually trying to be in nature, I was eliciting a stress response really quickly, going, well, you've got all these things to do. You can't be sitting down now. And secure attachment has given me the ability to rest, to sit outside and stare at the trees. And to wrap that one up, it really is that being alone doesn't mean you have been left or abandoned. The really important thing to understand about secure attachment is there are ways to move towards it. Secure attachment is not something you have to have with someone else first. It's quite the opposite. It's something you build with yourself, and then you bring that into every relationship. So if you're saying, I have a really secure attachment relationship with my partner, but I do not have a secure attachment relationship with my mum or my dad or my sister or brother or whatever, that means that you don't have secure attachment. It just means you and your partner have worked towards that here. When you work towards secure attachment within yourself, you take that into every relationship. The reason people don't have secure attachment yet because it is absolutely possible to move to a place of secure attachment. It's because you adapted to your environment. When you were a child, things happened and your nervous system learned strategies in order to survive. And they were brilliant strategies. They really were. And the strategies that you built were at the age that the wound first happened. Now, we know that our attachment style is created and built into us from zero, being zero in the womb, up until 2 years old. Now, if you're building brilliant adaptive strategies in that age, you don't have many tools or much wisdom from 0 to 2 years old. So those things have got you to where you are now, and they are magnificent. And you also have the opportunity now to learn new tools, to reparent that younger part of yourself and bring yourself towards secure attachment. Just know that with the current attachment style that you have, you didn't get it wrong. You just got yourself through. You've done a brilliant job, and change is possible. You can feel safe in your body and in your relationships. When someone becomes securely attached within themselves, your relationships feel calmer, not chaotic. Your decisions feel clearer, which is so lovely. Your boundaries feel natural and not forced, and your body softens. Life stops feeling like something you have to brace against all the time. And please know that secure attachment isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally feeling safe to be who you've always been. If you want to learn more about how to become securely attached, you can go to my website, tracymalone.co, and you can watch the Secure Attachment Code Masterclass, where I take you through how wounds were created and the 4 pillars of secure attachment. The greatest gift that you can give to this world is your authentic self. We need you to be you in order for this whole world to thrive. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Heal Your Past, Master Your Future. I look forward to seeing you next time.